All right, everybody, welcome to the Healthy and Mindful Eating Through the Holidays. I just want to get started by saying thank you for coming out. And this is by no means meaning that you have to change your lifestyle. These are just going to be some helpful tips. All of us do CrossFit. All of us are trying to lead a healthier lifestyle. So this is just some tips to be mindful of our eating. First thing I want to talk about is portion control. I know if you go through onboarding, we talk about the plate method. As you can see on the right-hand side, half your plate should be non-starchy vegetables, mostly greens, quarter of the plate carbs, and quarter of the plate proteins. In the carbs, you'd like to have a little bit of nuts and seeds in there too. But Thanksgiving is next week, and then we have Christmas coming up after that. So, some tips to try to contain that portion control. First of all, we all eat on a plate that's usually 8.5 by 11. Nice big round plate. Get a smaller plate. Smaller plate means you're going to be more likely to get smaller portions. You're going to have to. So using smaller dinnerware, including plates, bowls, and glasses, even spoons, studies show that just a larger bowl can result into eating 80% more than a typical portion size. So you're eating almost twice the size if you get a larger bowl as compared to a smaller bowl. Use your plate, as I said, as a portion guide. Most of us are probably going to be going somewhere for Thanksgiving dinner. Parents, relatives, friends even. Most of you probably aren't going to feel comfortable saying, hey, can I have a measuring cup to measure out my food? Well, there's ways around that. Measuring cup is going to be the most precise, but you can also use your hands as a good source. For females, for your carbs or for your veggies, should be a palmful. For guys, it should be 2 palmfuls. Talking about protein, for ladies, it should be a fist size. For guys, it should be 2 fist size. Well, think about it. A fist size, and I'm talking about the length and width, that's going to be about a 4-ounce portion. So, some people eat out during the holidays. And I found this one very interesting. Most restaurants, I would say probably 98% of restaurants, give you 2.5 times the size of a normal portion size. So, a good way to avoid that is say, hey, can I have a half a portion size, or even order off the kids menu. It's much more in line with what our portion should be. Who all eats Thanksgiving dinner and then at the end of the night they're rubbing their guts saying, oh my God, I ate too much. Yeah, I didn't realize I ate that much. So some tips to avoid feeling overstuffed. If you want seconds, help yourself, but again, try to maintain that portion control. After your first plate, go on a 20 to 30 minute walk. Do we know why we want to go for a walk? Why? It helps digestion. There's another reason I'm looking for. What's that? Yeah, it can lower your sugar. You're burning off some of what you just put in your body. Yeah, but the main reason is it takes 20 to 30 minutes for our brain to send a signal to our gut that says, hey, you're full. You don't need no more. So by pushing yourself away from the table, going on a walk, you're burning some of that off, but it's also giving your brain enough time to say, hey, I could use another 200 calories, or hey, I'm good. So be mindful of that. Eating slower. I mean, you're typically going to be at a Thanksgiving dinner for a couple hours. Food's going to be there. Take your time, eat slower. It helps with digestion, but also the more you chew, the more calories you're burning, believe it or not. I mean, it all makes sense. Let's talk about water. Drink a glass of water before your meal. Yeah, it could be 20 to 30 minutes before your meal. That's going to help fill you up so you don't have the urges to jump right into seconds. And I would also, I've been thinking about this. How many folks in here do a protein supplement? Most of us. Do a protein shake 30 minutes before your meal. Okay? It's going to fill you up, getting that extra protein, which we all need anyway. And that's going to that's going to subside a lot of those cravings for the other stuff that's going to be on the table. But being full on water or protein makes you less hungry. And did you know that being well hydrated, it helps our bodies distinguish between actual hunger and thirst. So the more hydrated you are, you're less likely to crave those other things. Studies show that consuming a 16-ounce glass of water before every meal resulted in a 44% greater decline in weight over 12 weeks. That's only 3 months. So if you would drink a glass of water before breakfast and every meal that you're having, you have almost a 50% chance of decreasing your weight over 12 weeks. And drinking a glass of water before every meal leads to 15% less consumption of calories. Let's just use a 1,000 calorie diet, or we can use 2,000 calorie diet. 2,000 calorie diet, 15% less is 300 calories. That's huge. Drinking alcohol. I know when I was growing up, I had a lot of uncles that came to the house and always had a bottle or a beer with them. So, alcohol actually increases your appetite, and it increases your appetite for the bad things. Chris is shaking his head. He's like, yep, I know what you're talking about. Consuming just 1 to 2 drinks before your meal actually makes you hungrier. You're going to crave those things. And what is alcohol? It's got a lot of sugar in it. And what's it make you crave? Sugar, carbs. Studies show that having a drink before or during your meal can lead to 30 to 40% higher consumption of food. So again, let's go back to that 2,000 calorie a day diet, 30% of 600 calories. It's huge. Sugars and alcohol lead to craving more sugar, and I think we can all say we make bad food choices when we do have a drink. Scott, you agree with me? Yeah. Entertain yourself out of the kitchen or out of the dining room. That's where the food's going to be. So, don't linger in the kitchen or around the dining room table. When you're close to the food, you'll unintentionally grab for it without even realizing it. I know I've been guilty of that. Me and Scott can be having a conversation, but if there's some snacks right there, some finger foods, you're just unintentionally grabbing for it and getting it. So get away from that. Use this time to spend socializing with friends and family away from the food placement. It's also a really good time to go for a walk if you're feeling that urge. And we tend to eat more when others are around us as opposed to eating by ourselves. Because if they're eating, you want to eat. It's kind of crazy, but an individual will eat up to 25% more when surrounded by other people. So I found that one very interesting as well. Very important to maintain our exercise routine. As we know, exercise helps release the endorphins, which is feel-good hormones, which we need more of during the stress of the holidays. Yeah. It also helps to burn calories and maintain your muscle mass, which helps sustain your metabolic rate. So just because the gym's not going to be open on Thursday and Friday, there's turkey trots all over the place. You don't have to run, you can go walk. But on Friday, go for a walk. Do something to stay in your pattern.
At-home CrossFit workout.
Yep, at-home CrossFit, absolutely. Well, if you can, yeah. As long as you're getting a bunch of steps in, buddy, you go for it.
No, I'm not going.
I was going to say, you can fight those crowds. I'm not going to. You've worked hard to get where you're at, so don't throw it all away. Stick to a schedule. Stick to a pattern. Other than turkey for Thanksgiving, I know sometimes some people have turkey and ham, but other than those two food items, what is typically on a table? I'm just going to go around the room. Tell me what's a side you would find at Thanksgiving, Deborah?
Potato casserole.
Potato casserole. Scott?
Macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese. That's all right. Put your rolls, stuffing,
Sweet potato casserole.
sweet potato casserole,
Pumpkin pie.
pumpkin pie.
Stole my answer. I was gonna say pumpkin pie.
Okay. Corn. Mashed. I was waiting for mashed potatoes.
Green beans still available?
Green beans are still available. Salads. So everything you all just mentioned is a carb. You're typically going to have one, maybe two choices of a protein. Turkey or ham, might be something else. What?
One of those kind of deviled eggs. There's a protein for us.
A high fat option as well. Yeah. But typically everything else on the table is a carb. So very important, either drink that water beforehand, drink a protein shake beforehand to make sure you're getting that added protein. Let's talk about the cuts of a chicken or a turkey, poultry. You got white meat versus dark meat. Stephen, where would I find white meat at on a turkey?
Think the leg.
Leg? Nope.
Breast.
Breast and wings are your typical locations for white meat. Dark meat is, Stephen?
Legs.
Legs and drumsticks. Thighs, yeah, that's what I had. I'm sorry. I can't see without my glasses. Let's talk, I know. Let's talk about the difference between white meat and dark meat. Which is better for you? Okay, Brooke said it first. Why is white meat better?
It's got less fat in it, I think.
Okay, feel like it is?
They're kind of equal. It's just the
Get more meat on the breast.
dark meat actually has a lot more nutrition for you than the white meat.
Dark meat does have a lot more nutrition. Yes. So, obviously, I'm going to suggest that you don't eat the skin. The skin is going to be basically loaded with butter and all the other stuff, and that's where you're getting a lot of fat. But if you would just take white meat versus dark meat, white meat is a 3-ounce serving is going to be 30 calories less than dark meat. Okay? So they're still both good options, but dark meat does have more nutritional value than white meat. We talk about fats all the time. You have saturated fats, which are bad for you and increase your heart disease, then the unsaturated or monosaturated, which is what the dark meat has, and it actually boosts your heart health. So dark meat helps your heart. And does anybody know why? It's got a protein in it called myoglobin. And myoglobin comes from a muscle of the animal we're eating. It contains more oxygen than most proteins, which helps the heart. So dark meat actually, it's got 2 extra grams of fat per serving than white meat. But like I said, it is that monosaturated, it is the good fat. Are there any questions that any of you guys have for me about anything, exercise or eating? I talked about the hand method. I want to go back to that real quick. We talk about gravies all the time. If you don't have a measuring utensil, I know, listen, when I grew up, there was a ladle in the gravy and everything else. So if you want to use your hands, for ladies, a thumb-sized portion of gravy is what you should have. But think about it. If you're eating a portion size of mashed potatoes, that portion size is going to be that big. So a thumb size should be enough gravy. For guys, it's 2 thumb size. So.
Anytime a woman has a big hand. I'm gonna become friends with her real quick. Hey, Deborah.
Yeah.
I'm about to get this teapot so they can get together.
So any questions?
So is ham a good option too?
Ham is a good option. It's going to be a little higher than sodium than turkey, but it is very high in protein as well.
Do you have any suggestions for like if we are cooking, something we can substitute for one of these carbs we all mentioned?
As far as substituting a carb, I would suggest just finding healthier options. For example, Using Greek yogurt in place of sour cream is a good choice. Is there a particular dish you're talking about?
Not really. Just like my family usually does the same stuff, the rolls and the mashed potatoes, and so I didn't know if there was something that was actually good.
Yeah.
That was healthy.
Yeah, mashed cauliflower is an option, and wasn't it you, Sierra, telling me? So mashed cauliflower, actually mix it with a little bit of equal parts jasmine rice, and you don't have that texture issue as much with the cauliflower, and jasmine rice is really good for you as well.
It's actually like really good.
Yeah, Taylor?
It sounds free, but it's really good.
Gluten-free rolls, I mean, it's a better option for sure. And I know a lot of people struggle with breads and stuff. I'm fortunate, I don't crave bread usually. But yeah, if you can do gluten-free, I would do gluten-free. But yeah, you can definitely substitute. The Greek yogurt is a good one in place of sour cream. And just make sure we're paying attention to portion sizes. Stephen brought up pumpkin pie. If you have a typical pumpkin pie, and I believe it's 8.5 by 11 as well, round, how many servings should there be in that pie?
I think they say 8, but we usually.
I say there's
Yeah.
about 8 pieces of pie in
About-
that pan that my mom makes when she makes apple pie.
Okay, so about 8.
Yeah.
Is it? I thought it was like 12 to 16.
It is 12 to 16.
Damn, I'm good. I've been reading all that shit.
So think, you got a pie, you cut it, there's 4 pieces, you're gonna cut it again into 8. You need to cut it again to get 16. That is a portion size. Now, if we're talking about a 1/16 of a piece of pie, it's gonna be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches at the crust. Okay, then it's gonna get narrower. How many calories are in pumpkin pie, P. Riley? Take a shot. How many?
In one piece or a whole pie?
No, in one piece. In a serving that is 1 inch to 1.5 inches wide at the crust.
I want to say
Hang on, buddy. I'm asking P. Riley.
250 calories.
Okay. Now, Stephen, what do you think?
I think it's 190.
190. Devin, you're being quiet. How many calories do you think?
The actual portion size is supposed to be at maybe 160.
160. It is actually 310 calories.
Well, how do you feel about substituting artificial sweeteners? Is that a yes or a no?
For CrossFit, I mean, it is up to you. If you want to substitute, that's up to you. If you feel like it's healthier. Huh? Yeah. Your body, sugar is sugar. Your body recognizes it as sugar one way or the other. It might be a little less in fat or something, but
Would sweet potatoes be a better option than white potatoes?
absolutely, always.
But sweet potatoes. Yeah, brown sugar.
And you
More,
can
no,
actually
really.
take take steamed cauliflower and a little bit of like almond milk or
Mhm.
like low fat milk and blend it and make it into mashed potatoes. And honestly, it's the closest that you could get to mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
It's actually really good.
Yeah. So when you're thinking about, some people have cake and pumpkin pie. Cake is the same thing. At the base, it should be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. But 310 calories for this size of pumpkin pie. I know when I was growing up, listen, my mom cut that pie into 8s.
Well, you never even talked about the Cool Whip that you put on top of it.
Well, yeah, haven't even talked about that yet. But so think, if my mom was cutting it into 8s instead of 12 to 16, that piece of pie that she was serving was about 600 calories or more. And how much fat do you think is in small serving or a normal serving of pumpkin pie? It's actually not as outrageous as what you would think. It's about 13 grams, about 13 grams of fat.
Well, I would have guessed 10.
Okay. But it's also got 48 carbs. Yeah. So if you eat a portion size that is 3 inches, you're getting close to 100 carbs in that one piece of pie.
Beforehand.
I can't hear you.
We're going for a run beforehand, so it's going to be worth it.
I may just fast the rest of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either. And Patricia brought up, the Cool Whip. You know, if you're going to do Cool Whip on top of your pie, try to get the light option or fat-free option, for sure.
No, I'm saying we should. Yeah.
Any questions?
We get these big plates.
Mm-hmm.
Have like 5 different, you know what I mean?
Rectangle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me throw out these little dessert plates and see what my family does.
You don't have to go from 8.5 to 11 down to a, dessert. Yeah, tell your mom to fill up on that.
Heck with plates, Greg says hands, I'm gonna get my.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
the potatoes, I ain't right.
But if you would just go down one size in a plate, you are going to see that you're going to consume less.
Well, you could even have like baked potatoes
Sure,
and just don't watch what you put on top of it.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, a baked potato by itself is still a good choice, but if you're throwing butter, bacon, sour cream,
And all that stuff.
and then you just took that healthy potato and made it into a crap show. So, I know it tastes better.
What about butter versus margarine?
Okay. Don't what?
Eat margarine.
I agree. I would stick to butter.
You know, there's a reason there's a Whole Foods store. Because you have butter. That's good for you. And that's stuff you shouldn't be eating. It's artificial.
And I always think back to my dad growing up on a farm. They had to make pretty much everything. My mom actually, when I was in elementary school, came to the school and churned butter for a demonstration in our class. You know, studies have shown that it is actually better for you. My dad lived to be almost 81 years old, ate eggs, butter every single day. My dad could have lived off an egg. You know, but yet there was at a time when everyone was saying eggs are bad for you. Eggs aren't bad for you. You just got to eat them in moderation like everything else. Anything else? Going once? Going twice? All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hopefully it helped.